This is Errol Marks from the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We're here at Radio Row. We're here with Adam Gotsis from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive end. How are you, my friends?
Doing awesome, man. Doing awesome. First time out here, experiencing Radio Row. So, it's a lot, but it's awesome. Catching up with a lot of old teammates and seeing a lot of familiar faces.
How do you like the heat down here? I'm not a big fan of the humidity. Now you're in Tampa, so you're going to have to really deal with the humidity. What is it like being down here for the little bit of time you've been here in New Orleans?
Listen to his accent, bro. He's from Australia.
Yeah.
He's used to this.
Don't
know the shrimp on the barbie.
Australia's not really humid. It's just hot.
I've never been.
Yeah, I've been to Australia.
I lived in Jacksonville for the last 4 years, so I spent 4 years in Jacksonville with them, the Jags. Duval.
Oh, it's hot over there.
That's a good one. Hey, you hit it right. The tone was right on that one. But then signed with Tampa at the end of last year, and now this offseason signed with them again. But I love the humidity, man. As a player, I like the heat. Feels good on the body.
Way better than cold.
Yeah. My first 4 years I spent in Denver, so the off season is shoveling a driveway. 10 a.m., you're wearing hoodies and sweatpants going to your workouts, to here in Jacksonville, and where home base is now, and my off season it's more you show up and you got to actually bring like two shirts, because by the time the warm-up's done you're already sweating through.
3 showers later,
So, this guy takes too many showers, man.
This guy, a Florida guy. That's
morning, noon, and night.
Florida
guy is always in the shower. I think he'll take 4 or 5 showers in a day.
It's no problem.
Listen, I'm a clean person too, but 4 showers, you're going to take all that oil off your body. Before you know it, you're going to be an old man. You're going to be shedding like a reptile.
It's the culture, man. It's the culture.
What, the Orlando culture or the Florida culture?
Florida, man. When I played,
he's from Australia.
I would show up to the field, take a shower.
Yeah.
Right? Immediately. Do all my workout pregame, take another shower. Go out and shag batting practice, do all that, do whatever I had to do. Take a shower before the game.
Take a dump.
Oh, of course.
Jump in the shower.
Crush spread.
Get in the car.
Get in the car.
The drive home. By the time you get home, you're like, I need to take another shower.
Dude, it's just a thing, man. I don't like sweating that much. And I feel like I'm just walking around. Like, give one of those, I'm good.
No, but definitely out here. I know this morning. Yesterday it wasn't too bad. Flew in yesterday morning. But this morning, just coming down here, I was like, damn, it's 9:30 and it's already like that. But we're right on the river, so I'm sure that's helping out a bit with the humidity. But being in this nice convention center, it's nice and air conditioned. We're in good hands.
We're here with Adam Gotsis, the new member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa has become a team of mine. I've been a fan favorite of Baker Mayfield. I love what Baker's doing right now for the Buccaneers. He's really grown as a player. A lot of people thought he wasn't worth a number 1 pick, but he's really transitioned. After he left the Rams and he went to the Buccaneers and took over for Tom Brady, he's really changed the culture over there. I don't know if you've met him yet. What type of player and what type of teammate do you think he's going to be?
Having to play Baker a few times throughout my career, he's definitely one of those quarterbacks that you want on your side rather than on the other side of the ball, because, he can win a game on his own. Now be his teammate, I remember it was first day I walked in the building there, we're actually in the training room, and he walked up to me, and it's kind of that mutual respect where I've played against him a few times, and I think he knew who I was. I obviously know who he is, but just to be able to be sharing that locker room with him, the way he leads that team, to really find his home there, I feel like. I think the people there love him, the people inside the building love him, but just to watch the way that guy works, prepares, does all the right things, brings everyone along with him, he's the type of guy you want on your team, and especially the guy leading the ship down there. And just super excited for what this year is going to look like. And I think the success that they've had over the last couple of years, I think they've won the NFC South the last 4 years. I think we're ready to take that next step. Hopefully I can help contribute. Baker as a teammate, man, that's a guy you want to go to war with. Gets along with everybody in the building, man. High energy, brings that intensity at practice, not just there to go through the motions. If he has a bad day, you can tell shit, I'm trying to get in the next day and make up for it. He's a guy that's still in his development. He's come a long way, and just to see the success that he's had, it's awesome.
There's a break-in period. You have to really learn yourself as a player. I'm assuming football, but at least in baseball, going from maybe the practice squad or AAA, the minor leagues to the major leagues, it's a different game. It's faster pace. Obviously, the lights are brighter. Stadiums are louder. Yeah. You have to figure out who you are as a player, and I think Baker Mayfield has done that. Obviously, in Tampa, he's really come into his own. I got to watch him at the Pro Bowl. He looked like he was having a great time. Did you have that experience?
100%. You go from college where once you become a senior and the game's kind of slowing down and becoming easier for you, it takes that next step once you get to the pros, and it's about relearning what you're already doing, learning from those guys around you that are those veteran guys. It's really soaking that in, but obviously his situation is you come in, you're the face of the franchise, there is no learning curve with you. It's the media's going to be on you, the team expects these things from you, and there is no break-in period for that. So fortunate for him, he was able to navigate that, hang around long enough and produce long enough where he's now found a home and found some value in a team that really wants him, and he's producing at a high level. And sometimes that's what it takes. It takes like that right team, that right situation, the right people in your corner, and he's got that there. And similar to myself, I came in the league, I tore my ACL my senior year in college, ended up getting drafted in the second round. That first year in the league was tough. You know, not having an off season with the team, wasn't on the field with the guys until training camp.
Feel like an outsider.
Tough transition, and the Broncos had just come off the Super Bowl, so there's big expectations. Lost Manning after that Super Bowl, so the offense was still trying to find their identity. The defense was a lot still intact. Being able to come in and being able to contribute, I did what I could in that first year, but then I really learned what it is to be a pro through that too. So going into that next season, how to attack it, how to get my mindset right for what's ahead, and then kind of found my feet in those next few years. Had a good veteran group around me, Derek Wolfe, Domitar Pecco, Shelby Harris. A lot of guys just in that, Zach Kerr, just in that room that I could just grow from, you know, and take a little bit here, take a little bit there, and find my process in it all. And obviously coming back from, you know, that was my first serious injury. And then to be able to produce, and then, you know, on the last year of my contract there, tore my ACL again. So, you know, that was kind of a whole new thing, but we were just talking off air, you know, COVID happened 2020, and it was like I tore my ACL December 2019. So it kind of worked out in a way where I didn't miss out again being with the team because no one was with the team. So I could really just hone in on my rehab, do what I needed to do, be away from the building for a bit, not be on the team, and just kind of focus on what I needed to do, get my mind right. And then Jacksonville called and went down there, and I think Calais Campbell had just been signed by another team. So it was kind of perfect fit to fit into that role of what he did there, and went down there and spent 4 years in Jacksonville. And then, the last year was with Jacksonville to start the year, ended up with the Colts for a bit, then ended up as a Bucs. So, you know, a bit of a, you know, Taylor Swift tour around the U.S. And
that's a life of a pro, man.
It is. It is.
I had Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles was I played baseball growing up with him. I don't know if you had a chance to meet him.
Haven't met him yet, but
he's a trip.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
He seems like an awesome guy.
Oh, he's crazy. I wanted to ask you, I played and I had a lot of veterans that I learned a lot from. One of them that, you know, there's two guys, obviously, they're pitchers. Andrew Miller, both left-handed. They throw with the wrong arm. Yeah. And Brad Haynes, all-stars, really, top-tier players, relievers. Those are the guys that I would lean on to, you know, and just watch what they did, watch their routine. Was there one player or two players that, when you broke into the league, that you kind of gravitated towards and just wanted to just kind of emulate your game, or kind of take what you liked at what they did and
Yeah, it was really tough. Like I said, you know, coming in as like an injured guy, drafted, a lot of expectations, even me bouncing back from that ACL. And, you know, that first year, it was really tough because I was just trying to find my feet in the league. And, you know, you don't have that off season to improve your game being an injured guy. You know, you're just thinking, I got to get back healthy. But you forget about the playing football side and how every year you got to find something to get better at. Yeah. And, you know, for me it was – I just thought I had to get healthy, but it's so much more than that. And, you know, I didn't have that mental stability. You know, I knew the playbook, I knew all that stuff, but in terms of like upgrading my talents from my last year of college to my first year in the league was really tough. But that second year in the league, we signed Domitar Pecco. Like, I think he was like a 12, 13-year vet at that point, played a lot of ball. And literally, like, that guy took me under my wing. I don't know if it was, like, the energy I was giving off or, like, I think I was looking for someone to kind of do that. And, you know, he took me under my wing, and I was probably at his house, like, 3-4 days out of the week, just hanging out with him and his family. You know, being from Australia, I didn't really have much family there. I had my sisters that would come visit and, you know, maybe my mom come visit here and then. But, yeah, he made me feel like family, man, and I feel like that's the strongest thing you can have is someone just in your corner. Yeah, that if you do have a bad day on the practice field, he can just, you know, check you a little bit or just, hey, flush it, you know, just give you that advice. And I just watched the way he worked. You know, he's a 12, 13-year vet at that point, and this guy's running to the ball every play, doing the right stuff off the field, how he was with guys in the locker room, you know. He wasn't a guy that would keep all the secrets. You know, he's a guy that, like, he'd tell you how to be successful in the league. And sometimes you just need a guy that can give you those little nuggets of information.
Because they're comfortable with themselves.
Yeah.
A lot of players will keep stuff to their chest because they're afraid you're going to take their job.
Definitely, and I've experienced that too.
Yeah,
so to have that guy for 2-3 years that I was in Denver with him, man, he changed my whole outlook on life, on football, on all these things. So I can't thank him enough. And he's one of those guys. He's going to be a lifelong friend. Still talk to his kids. Like, even when he retired, like, I was sending – I think his kids are like 12, 13. A couple of them now seniors in college and stuff, but they've grown as well. So I'm sending them like my cleats, my gloves and stuff. And it's like crazy how life works. But that guy played such an impact on my life, and I can't thank him enough for it. But him, a couple of the guys, Khalif Raymond, he's with Detroit, punt returner, kick returner, and he was a guy that was undrafted my year that I came in, and he was a dude that, like, shoot, you got to take advantage of those ops. And, after that first year being an undrafted guy, he's kind of like up in the air of where he's going. Yep. But like I said, I was out in Denver by myself, so I literally was like, bro, come live with me. And me and him really connected, and we'd be at LA Fitness, at 24-hour fitness at like 10:30 at night playing basketball and just hanging out and developing off the field. And, we, again, lifelong friendship, and he traveled to Australia with me, got to hang out with my family, stay with me there. I got to teach him some things on life. He's given me a lot of perspective on life, and to see the success that he's had in his career, and it hasn't been an easy journey for him either, it's just awesome. And those two guys are always guys that I can bounce stuff off if I'm ever going through something, just to reach out to, and, they can keep me level, keep me humbled, keep me, if it's an injury, if it's just been released for a team, they're the first guys to reach out and make sure I'm doing all right as a person first and foremost, and make sure everything else is all right. So those are two guys that, like, I just hold very close to my heart, and, have been a big part of my success that I've had.
That's important, man.
I have a bunch of questions, and obviously you're heading to the Buccaneers. You mentioned media. New York is the big media part of the world, and there's a guy that you're going to be coached by, and that's Todd Bowles, who coached the New York Jets. He dealt with the media for a couple of years over there. He wasn't successful in New York as a first-time coach. He goes down back with the Buccaneers and really relooked himself as a head coach and really transitioned. Then he got Tom Brady. He was a part of that Super Bowl champion team. He was a defensive coordinator, and then really took over for Arians when he retired. You look at Todd Bowles now, I think he's become really successful because he's a leader, he's a sergeant, he's a drill sergeant, and he really stands for something. The players love him. Have you spoken to Todd Bowles? What type of coach, as far as what you've heard so far of him and what you've seen, do you think he is?
Yeah, that short time that I spent down there at the end of last season, I mean, he's the type of coach that all the guys want to play for. His messages to the team, there's no fluff. It's just real stuff, It's about us outplaying guys. It's about our guys outplaying their guys. It's about doing the right stuff, knowing you're in a fist fight, knowing what the game's going to – hey, there's going to be ups and downs, but, hey, we just got to keep our course. And, small world was – Mike Caldwell was the linebacker coach when Todd Bowles was the DC there the year they won the Super Bowl. Mike Caldwell went to Jacksonville, spent 2 years in Jacksonville, so he basically brought a lot of that defense that Todd Bowles was running to Jacksonville. So I played in that system for 2 years with Mike Caldwell as the DC. So when I got to Tampa at the end of last year, it was almost like a smooth transition. I was like, dude, I know this defense inside and out, I know all those little things. So literally, I just did what I did. I came down there, was a true pro, got in the playbook, showed them what I could do, and I just took it as an opportunity like, hey, if I can help the team this year, I can help the team this year, but I'm going to give myself the best shot to be here next year. And, meeting with Coach, talking with Coach, he's a coach that I want to play for. And, even through my exit interviews at the end of the year, just, that's what he told me. He's like, dude, you came in, you're a true pro, you handled your business, you did what you did right. And, the first thing he told me was like, I'm going to go talk to front office and make sure you're back here next year. So,
hell yeah.
And he's a man of his word, because that's exactly what happened. I got back to Jacksonville about a week later and then got a call from them being like, hey, we're going to send over a contract. So, it's awesome.
It's crazy. I talk to a lot of athletes, and I've heard so many stories about certain players you play against, and I've heard that certain offensive linemen like to yap. Is there a particular player that you just can't stand playing because he doesn't shut up on the football field? I'm one of those guys on a radio show. I don't shut up. I'm a big pain in the ass. So is there somebody on a football field that really pisses you off?
He's got a list, dog.
I mean, there's a list. I'm not going to name
got his hit list.
I'm not going to name them, but there are guys, there are guys that like to talk and stuff. I'm not about that stuff. I feel like if I get caught up in that, then I'm not focused on what I need to be doing, and that's part of their game. Like, that's why they do it, because there's something about their game that's missing that they need to make up for with that. And for me, it's like, hey, I'm just going to play, and I'm going to be here every snap. I don't care what you're saying. I don't care what you're doing. And the next play is just going to be just as bad as the last one for you. So.
Just going to beat your ass on a football field. That's what I'm going to do.
100%. And, he might get me one play, but, hey, I'm coming. I'm going to be here all day. So it's going to be a long day for you. And at the end, there's a mutual respect between that, But, obviously guys are going to say some stuff, and it's heat of the moment, and you get caught up. And especially football, it's such a physical, emotional game that guys are saying stuff that doesn't even make sense sometimes, and you're out there and you're just like, dude, I don't even know
I'm
what
one of those
saying.
Guys too, There are things that people look at me and like, this guy's out of his damn mind. But that's what makes us a personality. I think football, you have to have personality, not just in the game, but outside of the game. You have to, you want to develop friendships and relationships, and when you're in the locker room, like you said, you mentioned a bunch of people that you built with, even people that you don't like, outside and off the field, they could be completely different people.
100%.
So, I mean, when people watch our show, they're like, man, that guy's out of his mind. He's crazy. He's nuts. But when they meet me, they're like, man, he's knowledgeable. He's funny. He's outgoing. And maybe that's why people are drawn to him. So when you look at yourself, is there a particular way you want to present yourself, not only in the league, but to your fans or to your teammates?
Yeah, I just like being true to myself. I think that's the best thing that guys can do is like, as true as you can be to yourself, people will resonate with you. And, not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay. You don't have to be liked by everyone, but I'm not going to go into a situation and just change who I am to make someone like me or to get a coach to like me a bit better or this or that. I think, it's that work ethic. It's how you're raised. It's all those things that come through. And, sometimes it just doesn't blend well with people, and sometimes people are really attracted to that. But I'm big on energy and what you give off and your aura. And if you have that confidence and belief in yourself, it's okay to be in a room where you might not have best friends everywhere, but there are going to be certain people that connect with you on those levels and understand like, hey, this guy's super focused and this guy's in where he's in. And those conversations might be more tailored towards that stuff rather than like some guys that enjoy talking about shopping. Some guys enjoy talking about taking trips and things like that. But for me, it's like work's work. There's a lot of acquaintances in sports. Doesn't mean we're going to be best friends forever, But there are some people that, hey, this is bigger than football for some stuff. And, like those guys who have impacted me, I'm sure, hopefully I've impacted some guys in a way that, they hold me in that regard. And that's just what I pride myself on. I want to be someone that, like, at the end of the day, like, people just feel better for knowing me for that short moment or for that long period in their life.
I feel better knowing you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm feeling it.
Leaving an impression on it. Like,
yeah,
it's your time now.
I got a nickname for you, by the way.
Definitely.
Adam Gotsis.
Yeah,
you like that?
Like that.
It flows.
I like
Gotsis.
that. There you go.
But we're not saying you're God, but you could be a God. I mean, for young fans out there, we've got Adam Gotsis.
It's somebody you want to look up to, for sure.
Listen,
definitely.
I like all your answers. I think you're straightforward. You're a straight shooter, and that's what you want. You want to meet somebody that's honest to you. They don't want to beat around the bush. When you sit down with an athlete, some of them think they're higher power. They think that they're better than you because they're an athlete, or they don't think that they're an even keel. What I like about you is I think that you flow. You understand who you are and what you're all about, and you want people to understand that this is who I am. Either you don't have to like me. I'm going to be who I am, even if you don't. And that's what I like about you. I think you're a straight shooter. I could tell that.
Yeah, that's what I try to be. I mean, I think it's just the most genuine you can be to yourself. I mean, because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to look yourself in the mirror. And, if you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you don't even recognize who you are, that's a big issue. So
where's the mirror? I got to see myself.
I got a question. So growing up in Australia, I got a couple questions, but growing up in Australia, You a big rugby fan? Did you ever
yeah,
play?
I played some
did.
rugby in high school,
I did.
but I was big in Aussie rules football. You know, it's a whole different game, punting the ball. So I like to think that I can be a backup punter in the NFL. So teams listening, you know, you got a backup punter here. But no, I mean, I grew up playing Aussie rules football, rugby, cricket, basketball.
Cricket?
Literally
Oh my God.
every
Dude,
sport
cricket
I could
is
play.
crazy.
Yeah,
I took a trip down to St. Lucia with my wife, and it blows my mind how they pitch with the straight arm. I'm like, how, dude? And they're coming in hot, dude.
It's even worse because I got the cricket swing and then I try to play baseball. It's way different. So I suck at baseball. I suck at baseball because I'm like, it's a whole different angle. The ball's coming in a different way. The way it's pitched to you is different. Yep. So, like, I try the baseball stuff, and I'm like, damn, I can't just save my life.
It's tough. Hey, and I didn't have to hit. I pitched. So I was on the pitching side. I didn't ever have to stand in the box and see 98. But I tell you, I saw 90, and I was like, damn, that's cooking.
But, yeah, it's definitely, you know, coming from Australia and growing up playing, you know, Aussie rules, like, so many attributes of that sport, like, helped me in my success and my transition to the NFL. Like, being a big guy who can run, jump, tackle, you know, pick up a ball off the ground and do all those things, like, it literally, like, correlates to being a defensive lineman. You know, Perfectly. It's like all these things, like, you have to be able to do. It's always, and being a big guy, being able to take the right angles and pursue a guy, like, the transition was so smooth with that when I got to, like, college and going through the college thing, it was literally, like, at a point where athletically, like, you're going to develop in the weight room. You're going to develop, like, on the field a bit, but it's more like the coaching, the technical side of things. And I think that really helped me was I didn't have, like, bad football coaching. You know, I didn't have bad habits to break. So when I got to college, I had good coaches that were able to just build on my strengths and recognize where my strengths were. And one thing that, like, playing Aussie rules football is it's 4 quarters that are, like, 20-minute quarters, continuous running, all this stuff.
Like soccer, bro.
Yeah, so like soccer. So my conditioning was like next level. It was like next level compared to a lot of defensive linemen who have just been like told like, hey, you're in this 5x5 box, and that's what we need you to operate in. But now we see how the NFL is, and it's if you're a big guy that can run and get out of the stack and make plays, you're going to make money and you're going to stay in the league. So a lot of those things like carried over to me, and you know that's what I pride myself on is being a high motor guy, a guy that can pursuit down the field, a guy that can rush, do a bit of everything, and that's probably what's kept me in the league this long.
Jack of all trades there. The other thing I get asked, and I want to ask you, when did you know I can compete in the NFL? Like I have what it takes mentally, physically, obviously your statures, you're massive. but at what point in your whether if you were 8, like 10, 12, or in your college career where you're like, all right.
Yeah, I think growing up and always being kind of the biggest guy on my teams, whether it was basketball, footy, or whatever, it was like I always knew sport was going to be an avenue for me. You know, God blessed me with this body, blessed me with these gifts, and then, you know, to have my parents and, you know, my teammates and coaches in youth sport that really just like molded me into the person that I am today. I kind of knew that my avenue was going to be there somewhere, and then, you know, even just growing up and, you know, some sports just don't work out for you, but I always just loved to be around it. So if I wasn't playing, I was like, I want to be front office. I want to be a GM. I want to be this, that, as close as I can to it because I just love sport. And then kind of once I was about 15, 16, I had a few coaches in Australia that were like, dude, you've got the measurables to get over to college. And these were guys that one of them coached in NFL Europe and one of them played in at Hawaii in like the 90s. He actually got recruited by Hawaii from Australia. He was a rugby guy.
That's crazy.
So those were 2 guys that were back in Australia giving back to the game, and just to be able to take their advice, and these are guys that have kind of done it, telling me like, hey, you know, you might have something here, man. And, you know, their biggest thing was, let's just get you to college, you know, get yourself a 4-year degree and see what happens after that. And then once I got to college, went through that first year, and, you know, I felt a bit behind because I did miss out on, like, kind of that high school development where guys are lifting, doing all that stuff. So, like, in the weight room and stuff, I was definitely behind guys. Like, I think the first time I did the 225 bench test, it was like, I got like 8 reps as like a freshman. And there are guys getting like 14, 15. So I'm like, I'm a bit behind there, but, you know.
Makes you work hard.
On the other side, I knew, like, hey, my conditioning's next level. Yep. So, you know, that's what I prided myself on, and that's what kept me on the field. Even in college, it was like, well, I know going through a practice, I might be at 80% of what these guys' 100 is, but I'm going to be at that 80% the whole time.
100%.
Where a lot of guys, they'll start practice good or they'll start a team period good, but by the end of that period, they look like dog shit, you know.
Dog shit.
Yeah. So for me, it was like once I kind of that clicked, and that was like, okay, I'm starting to mold myself into the player I know I can be. And then my first and second year there was a defensive end, outside linebacker, Jeremiah Tauchu at Georgia Tech. Another guy, Euclid Cummings, another guy, TJ Barnes, that all were going to the league kind of my sophomore year. So again, I just told myself, like, be a sponge, like, watch how these guys work. Like, don't get distracted with the parties and you're in college having fun, chasing tail, like, whatever it is, going to the bar, having beers. Like, focus on, you've got this short window, take advantage of it. Focus on the schooling, get your degree, because more than likely, if you do go to the pros, you probably don't want to come back and do school. So handle your business, do what you got to do. And then literally, like, saw how they worked. I saw Jerry would always be in the weight room, like either after practice or in the mornings. He was going and getting that extra work in. And then I kind of, going into my senior year, I was like, dude, I'll just go to the weight room at like 5 a.m. every morning, and whether I work out or whether I just be in there, like, it's just being in that environment. 100%. And then I slowly started to realize, like, doing that, it was like finding those hidden hours in the day. You know, I started like convincing myself, like, shoot, at 5 a.m., who else is up at 5 a.m.? Everyone else on my team isn't, because I'm the only one in the weight room. So I started seeing, like, those sacrifices of sleep, of going out, those things were paying dividends on the field. And then my teammates would be looking at me like, damn, this guy's crazy. This guy's getting better and all this stuff. And they'd be like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, bro, come to the weight room with me at 5 a.m. And none of them would show up. And then these were guys that were more talented than me. Don't get me wrong. These are 4 or 5-star recruits, guys that played football longer than me. But they didn't want to give up what they were doing. And you know, and I'm just like, that's just.
I had a guy
it's just that.
At LSU that would do that. He would work out constantly, and it pissed me off to the point where I was like, I'm going to get there 5 minutes early before him. 100%. And it made me a better player.
Yep.
And just like, and we ended up pitching. We both pitched in the Yankees together, but we came to the minor leagues together. Yeah. And it's like, even in the big leagues, like, he would show up early. I'm like, no, dog, I got you.
And that's something that even I've realized in the league, you know. And like I said, that first year, like, I was just trying to find my feet coming off that injury, so I didn't even know how that thing worked. But now I'm a veteran guy. Dude, for probably like the last 5, 6, 7 years, like, I've been one of those guys that comes in at 6:30 in the morning. Yep. And I'm getting an hour and a half in when guys are rolling in at 7:50 for an 8 a.m. meeting. And I don't think guys realize, like, that's what the pros are doing. That's what the veteran.
Pro's pro.
Yeah, if you go in there at 6:30 in the morning, you're going to see Mike Evans. You're going to see the guys that are having the success on the field, but they're getting 2 hours on the front end. And then when they go back to their house, they're getting 3 hours on the back end. That's hidden. And they might not tell you about it, but they're doing it. So you add those hours up, you know, 5 hours a day that they're getting extra per week. That's a whole day that they're getting extra focused on what they want to do. And then across the year, you know, you're adding an extra month of your year just of work. Yes. And that's not like, you know, dick around time where whatever, but that's actual work. Every second of that is intentional, what you're doing. And then all of a sudden it's like, dude, over 2, 3, 4 years, you've added an extra year of working on your craft, that guys that are just spending that extra time sleeping or on the video games and all that stuff. I just told myself from once I got to college and stuff, like, that stuff's all going to be there. The parties are going to be there. The women, the video games, everything you do is just, it's going to be there. It's not going anywhere. But this short window that you have, it's going to close. So take advantage of it while you're here. Give up. What are you willing to give up to get to where you want to go? So I really just told myself that, and I still try to do that today. And
it's pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Adam, I have one more question. I know you're a busy guy. Awesome, Super Bowl, all right? You have Kansas City and the Eagles. We've asked a lot of different people, where do they see this game, and why do you see that way? Who do you have winning, and why?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Playing Pat Mahomes a bunch of times. You know, he's a dangerous guy with any time on the clock. Watching their year this year and seeing how they've gone, it hasn't been the prettiest year for him. But again, they find a way to win these games. You know, one-score games, they find a way to win. They're so good in those high-pressure, gotta-have-it moments. They just know what to do. You know, the Eagles have been great this year, don't get me wrong. They've had a great playoff run too. And, you know, they've put up a lot of points. But when the going gets tough, have they really been tested in a lot of those situations? And we're at the game where it's going to get tough at times. And it's hard to go against the team that knows how to handle those moments. You know, I look back and I think of Tom Brady and a lot of his successful Super Bowls. There's a calmness about when he was on the field, and you'd look at the offense and you watch other teams and you see, like, in those moments there's panic. The coaches are panicking. The players are panicking. They're scrambling, trying to get the play in, figure out what it is. Pat Mahomes and the Chief, it's cool, calm, collected. They know 30 seconds on the clock. Hey, we're going to go down there. We're going to do what we do, and it's on them to try and stop it.
Or you have the referees helping them.
Yeah.
You know all about that one. I think everybody does.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of helping, well, ladies and gentlemen, we have Ice Shaker. And Chris Gronkowski and the Gronk family have created a wonderful drink. Go to www.iceshaker.com, and all you guys, you can get Marvel, you get all your NFL teams, baseball teams, basketball teams, hockey teams, any one of their logos, including Jabba in the Mouth, anything you want. All you do is go and spend over $50. You get free delivery, and you can get any kind of style you want. Go to www.iceshaker.com, and guess what you're going to get? You're going to get an Ice Shaker, my friend.
Awesome. Is it the red and black?
It is the red and black.
Gronkowski. I can bring it down there to Tampa with me. I can feel comfortable.
And he was a Buccaneer.
He
Look
was.
at this.
He was.
So there you go.
Full circle, right?
Well, we really appreciate the time. I hope you have a fantastic season, and I know you will. Getting to know you just a little bit, I can tell that you're a stand-up guy, and that's what you want as a team. And I've played sports. I wasn't a professional athlete because I hurt my knee, but nevertheless, I know good he was. And the number one thing you want is a teammate that you can trust and you can go into battle with, and I could see that in you.
Always, man.
I'm a fan, dude. I live in Orlando. I'm right down the road.
Let me know, man. Come down to Tampa.
Dude,
come watch us.
I don't buy NFL jerseys.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy
I appreciate that. Thank you, man. Thank you.
I want to get your information. I would love to get you on the show during the season and see how you're doing and everything like that. You're fantastic. You really are. And I'm not just saying that. I think your personality and understanding of the game and where you've gone and really how you've grown as a player, and from a rookie to even a leader right now, and going to the Buccaneers and getting an opportunity. The Buccaneers have a chance to do something in the NFC because the NFC is so wide open. You don't know what could happen next year.
Yeah, it's a special group down there. And, I mean, even just being there for that short little stint at the end of last year, you can tell, like, they're on that brink, you know. So hopefully I can add that little bit of value, add a couple games of win. And
like, you're battle-tested, bro.
Yeah. And once you get in those playoffs, man, it's win in advance. Yeah. It's anybody's game. So, you know, hopefully I can help contribute this year and we can get over that hump and get to the divisional game and take it one game at a time from there.
All right, Adam, we really appreciate the time you waited for us, and we should be waiting for you because I think you're sensational. Really, seriously, I don't lie. I tell the truth on everything I say if you watch this show. We really do think that you're a good stand-up guy, and I wish nothing but the best for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man. Thanks, boys. I appreciate it.
Adam Gotsis.
There you go.
He's rocking and rolling. And he's on his way to Tampa Bay. We'll be back after this.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, fellas.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.